talents of all likes that come on the show. But what is very instrumental about today's show, this talent not only brings creativity, but there's a certain level of intention and power behind words. And I don't even want to chalk it up to gender or anything, but the art of being an artist, there's a few that when you hear them, you know it's coming from the heart, and then some people it's coming from the mind. But this individual actually hits hard, really hard with words, lyricism, you name it, and presence. And I think that's the key word of tonight, presence. You know, when someone has that presence, you might not be able to put your finger on it, but it's guaranteed felt. So what we're going to go right now, we're going to go into a visual. You know, I don't want y'all to take my word for it. So we're going to let you hear for your own. And this right here is called Sweet 16. This is one. The artist is known as Ladie. Now, I need y'all to put, you know, when we in school, when they say, put your thinking caps on. We've all experienced that, right? I'm gonna just those sentiments. Check this out, y'all, and we're gonna be right with the set. Let's check this out.
Sight, so I'm probably out of mind. But let me remind you what you get here when you rocking with me. You get a little grace, a little grit. You get a goddess that can really spit. No square poet in my words, and no square woman in my action. And ain't no capping when I'm rapping. All my consonants and vowels really sinning in my walk. So I don't gotta do that rah-rah, I could send them in my talk. Cause in between my lips, the only thing about me sweet. That's the beauty when they sleep, I get to surprise them with this beast. And if you really one of them thoroughbreds, I know you spotting me. Cause I keep a Dalmatian that's 101. Then gave DeVille the sweats, the hottest under the sun. This need no more heat, it's hot sauce and one. But if it did, my lyrical Draco keep that flame tucked under the tongue. Yeah, you know 99 rappers, but you don't know one. Like me.
I hope y'all was listening. With that being said, let me give this further introduction. In this industry, I've come across a lot of talent. A lot of talents of all likes, right? A lot of talents on all likes. And I'm really trying to refrain from saying female artists, right? I'm really trying to, but just to give texture. I've heard this artist. I even got to work on the back end a few times with this artist, and to hear and see the talents and the pressure. And when I say the pressure, you know, pressure is energy in motion and build up. When I say pressure that this artist brings, it's not only a breath of fresh air, but it's beautiful to hear the talents of an individual of such be in the presence of a lyrical conversation and expression. So without any words and anything less, let's bring to the forefront the artists themselves, the one that you heard. Let's check them out real quick. Let me bring them to the forefront. I don't know why the glitch is happening again, but we ain't gonna let that stop us. There we go. Q, what's going on? And what's going on?
Thank you.
Shout out to everybody that's jumping on right now. I see y'all.
How y'all doing?
Yes. The energy is in. The fire emojis is in. The salutes is in. Everybody is feeling the energy. Now, I want to get right into a moment like. You're writing, and I know, you know, just doing a little reading and checking out, you know, besides like recording is your least favorite, but writing, recording is your least favorite, which is surprising, for most people. Controversy. It's surprising, but writing. I know, you know, you started out very young in your writing. And you know, going into poetry in the 8th grade. Could you take me back to that first time that you penned those words that really touch what you was trying to define?
Okay. 8th grade, had a class assignment. We were in a semester of poetry, so we spent about 9 weeks just on poetry. And I had an assignment, turned in my stuff, and the way my teacher responded just let me know that my writing was special. And then from there, little things happened. Like I got accepted into Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington is a performing arts school, a prominent performing arts school in DC. And this just opened the gates to let me know that my writing was special.
Nice, nice. Now, I know writing it started out in poetry. Did you dabble in the expression of poetry, and when was that transition into like the lyricism or the music part
Yes,
of it all?
okay. So poetry was first, of course, and then it was not until years later that it transitioned into music. Someone seen my poetry, like most MCs, it starts with poetry.
Yeah.
Someone seen my poetry and suggested that I come to the studio. And when I went to the studio, unlike other MCs, it literally just worked. There was no download period. There was no period of I need to learn how to rap. There was no period of let me try to sound like such and such to figure it out. It literally worked from day one.
Wow, wow. That's usually rare for people in their first encounters with the
Day
studio.
one,
So
very first song.
you was at home that
I was
very
at home already.
so that first experience once did you leave with a finished product after that session
I
or
left with a finished product. It was a group song, so there were like five other guys on it. Very long song, but I did leave with a finished product. And from there, once I had that little bug, it wouldn't go away. It wouldn't
it
go
wouldn't
away.
go
So
away? Now, how long before after eighth grade was this moment?
3 years. Wait, eighth, ninth, 10th. 3 years. So in 11th grade, someone seen my poetry and was like, "Hey, if you write this kind of stuff, you need to come to the studio."
Dope. Now, the very first time, 90% of artists, you go into the studio, you kind of just saying whatever and get everything, and then you start finding yourself and what you want to deliver. How was that development? Because I'm trying to get to like you got this fire behind your music, and I'm trying to
Thank you.
see that transition into like when did it ignite?
I think it's in me. I think it's just in me. Because, like I said, the very first day it worked. One thing I know is that one thing they say is that to write well, you have to read well. And I've always been a reader. So maybe we can tribute it to that. Because I can remember my very first verse. And low key with the new project that's coming, Grace and Grit. Grace and Grit is around the corner, y'all. With the
Check
new
it out. That's
project
right.
that's coming, I slid a piece of that verse into there, and it still works. And I did this when I was 16 years old.
Wow, you slid it in. So you
I
you you
slid
you,
it
you
in.
penned it for years to come, and got to
Listen,
utilize it. Got to utilize it now. Now, during that time from then to now, have you ever faced? I don't want to say the hardships of being an MC, but it's not easy for a female MC, whether on or independent. Was there ever that hardship time that you faced or dilemma that really clashed with your moment? And what did you do to get out of that or to continue in what you were, your goal, your mission?
well, two things. One, I think I have been, I don't, should I say blessed? I don't know if blessed is the word, but a lot of things that females say they go through in the game, I kind of never ran into that. And I'm so glad I have not. I'm grateful. I feel like my biggest hardships are just, and like you said, this could be independent or just an artist in general. A hardship for me is just finding people to work with. You have to do a lot of outsourcing and a lot of collab with this craft.
Yeah.
And to me, character is a big that I don't. For me personally, I don't care if you have money. I don't care about your ties. I don't care about your name. If the character is not there, I'm not rocking with it. And there's a lot of faces in this game. So finding just good, what I would say quality people, quality characters to work with has definitely. This is what's taking me so long.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. And there is many different characters that
Mm,
reflect through this industry, and a lot of them look alike and behave alike.
mm.
So you can see them in different markets. I truly believe that.
Exactly.
When did you find that mark where you like this is what I'm gonna do. Like this is me. I found me. I found me. This is the form of expression that I want to deliver.
I art in general has been my whole life. So I always knew I wanted to be in the art.
Okay.
And as my journey progressed, new realms were just open to me. So before we even get to writing, the first thing I ever did was act. So I started in theater. And
Okay.
then from theater, the poetry came. From poetry, it's like, oh, this transitions into music. So the arts have just always been my whole world. And I'm just good in that realm.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, was your surroundings, your parents, your household, were they pushing for that, or was the art something you just dabbled in and saw that you could flourish?
I dabbled in it and seen that I could flourish. Of course, they're supportive, but no one in my family kind of has that background. No one does music. I didn't grow up with music around me. It's just something I gravitated towards.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. You were your own star. You was your own star. You
I was
shine and
shaking up,
flourish. Now,
shaking up the game.
when you hear, when people hear and listen to you, there's a certain level of intention. What is it that you really want the people and the listeners to get from what you're conveying? Like, what's your standpoint that you as an artist are trying to make sure people hear?
Stay solid. Be solid in whatever you're doing. I have a word. Well, my message. If you're listening to the music, the message is in there. You'll get it. But I do have one word from my life. Shout outs to what is his name? Carmichael. There's a guy on YouTube named Carmichael, and he talks about this one word. And for my life, my one word is enrich. So with whatever I do across all boards, all genres, I want to enrich my life, and I want to enrich the people that enjoy my craft. I want to enrich their lives. So if I can sum everything up, is enrich with everything that I do. I want to add value.
I respect that. I respect that. Not a lot of people, approach music at that standpoint to enrich. It's more, and there's nothing wrong, but it's more of a selfish, like I need to gain rather than enrich. So that's a real creative standpoint. We have two questions that came in hot, and I'm gonna go to
All
the one
right,
on Instagram
let's get
first.
it.
And they said, who was your biggest inspiration in I don't want to say just in music, but I guess your inspiration period.
Not okay. I know this. First of all, inspiration is everywhere. I find inspiration in some of the smallest things. It could literally be the way I seen the sun shining and it bounced off a wall, and that would be my inspiration. I feel like I do a lot of internal digging, so I wouldn't say necessarily an outside source overall. Of course, you could see something and be like, "Hey, that's cool. I like what you're doing." But when I center myself and get into my work, it's a lot of internal digging to see what I need to bring out.
I like the fact that you say you find inspiration everywhere, and it kind of ties into the next question that we got from the app. And the question they spoke about is, as an artist in this day and age, how do you find the light to compete with so much of what's going on?
I don't.
She said, "I."
I don't. Listen, I, another thing that's contrary to a lot of artists, I am not competitive. I am not competitive. I'm just really not. I feel like my personal best has nothing to do with your personal best. Your personal best has nothing to do with my personal best. So I don't have a competitive spirit at all with anything. Like if we at the bowling alley, I might crack a joke just so we have a good night. But at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't. That's not in me.
I respect that. I respect that. And I think that that's something that really keeps an individual balanced when you're at the most comfortable of yourself.
Yeah.
You
If
can't
I put my
lose.
best right, if I put my best foot forward every single time, I did my best. That has nothing to do with nobody else. So
Yeah.
I'm good.
Gotcha. Now, I have a question. Just hearing and speaking on this, I know as an artist, we put our best, and you're not in competition with anything. But when you were possibly, if you were ever possibly at a crossroad or a low, or something that was disruptive to the vibrations that you give off, what did you do, or how did you maintain that balance to bounce back?
I would say, I don't know if I've always done it, but the space I'm in now is I just honor where I am with all things. So if I need to back off for a second to get my mind right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna go into attack or overdrive. I'm gonna honor where I am and just work from there.
I respect that. Now, the question that I see online is, how do you feel about DSPs? They mentioned that they couldn't find you on your music online, but they did find you through the website. So
Hey,
they were asking, how do you feel about DSPs and your approach to delivering your music?
my approach right now is directly through my website. There was something I want to do, and I'm moving forward on that. If it makes sense after this to get into the DSPs, I definitely will. But I had a vision in a certain way I wanted to do things, and just to see if it's just direct to consumer and it's coming directly from my website, how does that play out for me? Because right now, I do better with face to face and
Okay.
in person events. The online only counts for 20% of my market. My market is 80% offline. And 20% is at best because sometimes it would drop between 10 and 20. So
Okay.
I do a lot of in real time things and it seems to work beautifully for me.
Nice, nice. You seem to get a good gist of analytics and what builds
Oh,
your
yes,
brand.
I'm paying attention.
How important has that been and instrumental to you in delivering what you want to do, understanding, I guess you could say your particular markets and value points.
Exactly. It's a game changer because everything doesn't work for everybody. And as I've said before, I am big on just digging internally and
Yeah.
figuring out where to go from there. And I can't do better on this platform. I always see you and Miss Jackson, and I'm kind of touch and go. I can definitely do better on this platform. But me naturally is more of a in person. Like I said, I love the live performances and things of that nature. That's where I thrive and that's where it feels good to me.
Yeah.
So that's how I decided to move in that direction, and the analytics support it.
There you
So
go. Yeah, it sure did. Understanding that. Now, in this market with how everything is so digitally done, like from the interviews to music, even social media, everything is like this digital standpoint. How do you feel when you're marketing your music or doing your music, and how do you maneuver through that? Because a lot of people only get lost in the digital and forget that human, in-person, offline presence, or that market that they could really grow from. So how do you feel about that, and how do you maneuver through that balance?
I can maneuver better, as I stated. As far as socials, I am lagging behind a bit for sure. I can definitely do more on my socials. That's why I'm so grateful that we were able to do this because I have been told that people want more insight just on me as a person because they can't always get everything from the website. So, still some systems to work out, but we're getting there.
I respect that. Now you mentioned performing and being that in person. As an engineer and executive, I know a lot of artists who make really great music, but it's really like studio recording music. Like they haven't developed that presence to be in front of people and to perform. Like writing, recording, and performing are elements that you really gotta get into to make. How do you attack your performance? Like what's the, if you could give an advice to artists, and I know some artists are on, about performing, how would you approach that and what would you say?
Be in it. For me, I have a lot of nerves before every performance, and I kind of channel it. Channel your nerves. That's the best advice I could give, is channel your nerves, because I will be dang near feeling like I'm about to pass out before I get on stage. Nobody knows that. And as soon as I get on stage, something clicks and you would never know.
I feel
So
that.
channel your nerves and just be in your performance, be in your moment. There's a reason why you decided to perform whatever art you have. And I know you enjoy your own stuff. So be in your art when you're performing.
That's right. And to tell you, I don't want to say a secret, but anytime I've had to perform or anything, you go through that moment where it's like, oh man, you feel the jitters or something, but then it's like there's a switch, and it's like it's go time. I gotta do what I do,
Exactly.
and then that's the moment they can't get us off stage. Like we want to keep we want to keep going.
Exactly.
We want some more
Exactly.
time.
Listen, the first time I ever performed, it was poetry. The first time I ever performed, I was performing poetry. And I got on the mic and I said, everybody bear with me. It's my first time. And as soon as I started, I snapped into it. And the host was like, she done got up here and told everybody it's her first time. And look how she sounded.
Look what she do.
So, yeah, it clicks. It clicks.
That's what's up. And you performed at some really great places. Planet Word Museum.
Yes,
You
shout
did
out to
that.
Planet
Bus
Word.
Boys and
If
the
anybody
Poets.
from Planet Word is in here, shout out to y'all. Brett.
Shout it out. How did you go about getting these live performances? That's another thing that I notice a lot of artists have a hard time figuring out or need help with. Is that something that you do? Like, and I know you're an in-person person. That's how you develop these contacts. Could you talk a little bit about that approach?
I am acting as my own booking agent. So a lot of emails, a lot of looking out for events, seeing what aligns with what I'm already doing, and contacting people that's running the show. That's aligning with what I'm already doing. That's how I've gotten a lot of my gigs. And then from there, just doing a great job when I am present at the gigs, and there's been word of mouth from there.
There you go. Work. You gotta work. You have to work the floor. A lot of people go to these events and they just be, I did my 1, 2, and then they just too cool. They just too cool. Sometimes you gotta have a conversation. Now, could you tell me this though? Could you tell me this? How did it feel the very first time you heard your music on radio?
How did it feel? How did it
How
feel?
did it feel?
Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Y'all know you was there. K1, you mixed the first track. You mixed the
I was
first
there.
track.
I was
Shout
there.
out to Miss Jackson and shout out to you, K100 Radio. Complete gratitude.
The reason why I asked, I know that feel of hearing your work and you listening to yourself and the empowerment and the gratitude, and it has a deep motivation that pushes up. So I had to ask, but you've been working and getting your music played on a lot of different places that could really intensify your viewership and your listenership, which is really dope. So I wanna commend
Thank you.
commend you on that. Earlier you mentioned something about being your own booking agency, right? Now, do you
For
have
now,
for
I
now,
want
for
that
now.
to change.
You want
I want
okay.
that to change.
I was
Make no
gonna
mistake.
she's like, we're not keeping it like this. we, this I was gonna say, how important is it for artists or yourself? We could keep it on you to be very instrumental in like not all the aspects of everything, but being flexible to do stuff for yourself to intensify a situation or a new opportunity.
Oh, at this stage, for me, it's everything because I don't have a team. It's literally me, myself, and whatever my husband can help me with behind the scenes, and that is it. So at this stage, very important. However, I would like to get a booking agent. That would be amazing.
I feel that. I feel that. But you're putting in a lot of effort to make those situations happen because people will see and add on and that's how you create the value to make that
Mhm.
happen. So you are doing all the right steps, even though I know some days it's like I gotta send another email. I gotta do another I could be writing right now, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I feel you on that. Going back to writing, you're also an author.
Yes.
You're
Yes,
also
yes, yes.
you're also an author. Could you talk a little bit about the No Square Poet?
No Square Poet is a book of haiku that I have out right now. For anybody that's unfamiliar, haiku is a Japanese style of poetry. And I thought it was fitting for the moment because everyone is enjoying their short content right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of poetry books that were being published that I personally, if I may say, didn't feel like it was poetry and it was being marketed as poetry. So
Okay.
I wanted to do something that was still in the form of short content, but it honored the tradition of poetry. So it came with haikus.
Nice, nice. And how did you go about getting it out to the people?
Self published it. And like I said,
See,
those events.
I knew it was self published, but I need you to let the people know like it's self published. So I'm trying
Yes,
to
okay.
so talk
So my
about
book
that.
is self-published. I am the writer, designer. I formatted it. I did everything. I did the legal work for it. Of course, I wrote it with music and with poetry. I've never had anybody pick up the pen for me, and I'm very serious about that. So it's my pen game through and through. And the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I didn't do was have somebody buying the book. The only thing I didn't do was buying the book. I had to outsource that. But I'm getting the book out by doing different vending events. And of course, as you mentioned, Planet Word Museum has been instrumental in a lot of things and getting callbacks from different festivals and pop-ups. Pop-ups have legitimately been the move for me.
Nice, nice, nice. Now when you're doing these pop ups or these moments, are you merging you as an author? I see a question and I'm trying to incorporate that question. You as an
Okay.
author or artist, or do you take turns on depending on venue? Like how do you balance that separation, or if you don't separate them at all?
I have been taking turn. Can you tell? Taking turns depending on the event. However, now that my upcoming EP, Grace and Grit, is coming out, I will submerge it for sure.
Nice, nice, nice. Did you find that difficult, or that was kind of easy transition given the time frame that you were able to do both?
The EP?
Just merging the author and the artist together for this new project.
No, pretty smooth because the book, I've been marketing the book for 2 years. I'm on the tail end of marketing the book. So the book already kind of had its motion and that gave me a little breathing room to then go
Gotcha,
back and focus on the music. Now, I did want to release them at the same time and that just did not happen. So
gotcha.
here we are.
Okay, I dig it. I dig it. Sometimes timing is not on us; it's on the available opportunity, right? I do got a question from online, and the question is pretty dope. They mentioned that they are also a female artist, and the content that they try to put out does not compete with the negative outlook of female artists. How do you feel about female artists today, and what would you change about that market? They asked, just say it. They no, I'm just joking. There's it's a lot of trash. It's a lot of trash going on out there. But I'll let you answer that one.
Oh, ooh. Man, okay, okay. Let me say this. There is a lane for everybody. There is a lane for everybody.
That is true.
For me, the problem comes when you're not being authentic to who you are and you're hopping on a bandwagon because that's what's popping right now. So as long as you're not doing that, don't worry about competing with anybody else. Don't worry about what the market is doing. If you are in your lane and you feel that in your heart, then you're good. There's a market for you somewhere.
Yep, there's always, I tell people that all the
There's
time.
always,
There's
there is
always a
always.
market. There's always a market. And sometimes the lane, there might not be a lane for you, but you can make that lane. Like
Yes.
there's always something you could trailblaze. You could always trailblaze on that. Now, I got a question for you. You know, I listen to your music. I hear everything. Your passion, everything. Are you strictly like, yo, I'm staying indie, or if the majors came right now, like, yo, we mess with you, we want to do something? Is that an opportunity that you would seize as well, or how do you look about the future of, you?
If it makes sense, it makes sense. It's not something that's too much on my radar right now. And but if you can come to if the right terms are laid out, why not?
Gotcha. That's
But
perfect.
it's important to me. Creative control is important to me. Of course, owning your IP is important to me. So those are things that would have to be on the table.
I respect that. I respect that. And now, for those that are on, and like you use the word IP, the business, going back to the business of it, even as an independent artist, how important for you and the elevation of what you've been doing and the networking and all the productivity, business. Like, how do you rank business at this stage of your career?
Very important. It's very high up there. Without the business end, I wouldn't be able to do what I have done thus far. So it is very important. Of course, your creativity is very important too. I don't know how far you want me to go with that, but
You could
yeah,
speak
it's
as
ranked high.
much.
It's ranked high.
You can speak as much or as little as you wish. Like, that's one thing about this conversation piece. Like, we love the conversation. So as much as you're willing to or would like to, please most definitely do.
Yeah, it is ranked high. I had to actually take out time from being creative to learn the business to push further. So, if anyone is out here right now and they don't want to learn the business and you just want to be creative, I feel you. But take your time out, especially if you don't have a team and you're not signed. Even if you are signed, you want to
Yeah.
know what's going on. So I encourage you to just strap in, buckle up, do what you need to do, and learn that business side, okay? Do that for yourself because you're going to need it. You're going to need to know.
It's gonna most definitely be a conversation, and
Yes.
you want to be in the know, then the
Yes.
didn't, and then the didn't. What can people expect? I know your pen and writing is your passion and your drive, but what in the future after it all is said, and I don't even want to say all said and done, all said and continues, right? All said and continues. What's in the works for you?
I don't see an end. I just feel like keep doing my art as far as that, and keep being high quality in character. And however that comes out, whatever y'all get from me from there, those are two staple elements that will always be, is that I'm going, like I said, my one word is enrich. So with whatever I do, it will have a foundation of, is this going to enrich my life? Is this going to enrich the public's life if I put it out? And that will always be my basis for anything moving forward.
Enrichment. I love it. I love it. Now, my man Raw asked the name. He said the name.
Name.
Is there a history behind your name?
Q Elizabeth or
Yeah.
Lady? Q Elizabeth is my real name. It's abbreviated. And then Lady is something I just came up with when I was younger, which I actually didn't use. I had another rap name because the group, the remember I told you that very first studio session and it just worked?
Yeah.
When I told the gang of guys I wanted to use Lady, they was like, no, you can't use that. It's not descriptive enough. It's not whatever enough. So they kind of gave me a name and I wrote with it. And years ago, I said, you know what? I'm going back to Lady because that's the one I chose. And that was what originally stuck out to me. So that's where we at now. That's the history with that. It was just something I came up with when I was young that I loved. And now I'm going to use it.
Gotcha.
And
Now,
Q Elizabeth is my real name.
I well they say real name, no gimmicks, right? That was my man Obi Trice. Rest in peace. Now, there's one conversation during this conversation. There's one question that I ask everybody during the show, and the question that I ask everybody, if you could look back at the younger Q and look at yourself and tell yourself anything, what would that be, and why? Why would you say that to yourself?
Okay, I have two. I know you said one, but
No,
it's
no,
broken up.
nah. I'm with it. I'm with it.
One, as far as my art, I would just, as we touched on before, I would tell myself just learn the business earlier. For whatever reason, it's like I didn't even think to do it when I was younger. It was just one day when I get older, and it's as soon as you're starting, start it.
Okay.
So as far as my art, I would just tell myself learn the business earlier. Um, just in life, I would say move big on the whispers.
Move big on the. Could you give us a look? Could you? I know you said move big on the whispers. We going you know what I'm saying. But could you give a little bit more for the people? Just a little bit more on that, real quick.
Move big on the whispers because I have a theory that life kind of whispers to you the direction you're supposed to be going. You know, if how do I say? Hold on, but let me find out how to break this down.
No, please do.
I have a theory that life kind of whispers to you on things you're supposed to do next, on where you're supposed to be going, and it comes in a whisper. It's not loud. It's very calm. It's very direct, but it comes in a whisper. And I think you may be able to relate because you're from New York. I'm from DC. The city is loud. There's always something going on. So it's very easy to miss those whispers or drown them out. And I think when you miss them and you're not attuned enough, that's when stuff gets tricky, and that's when you can experience some things
That's
that
real.
you didn't have to go through because you just wasn't in tune and wasn't settled enough to hear those whispers. And there's been a few times where I heard them and I didn't listen and I drowned it out because I'm in the city and there's stuff to do and we on the go and I don't got time. And when it comes back, when it came back for me,
Hmm.
very hurtful. So I would say when you hear those whispers, move big on them because when you don't heed to those, then it starts to scream at you. Then it starts to roar. Then
That's right.
life gets testy.
I like that move loud on the whisper. I really like that. Shout out to
Mm,
Reverse Twins 13 said, like the signs. So
exactly.
most
And like
definitely.
I said, you got to be paying attention and you got to be in tune because it's quiet. That voice is not loud. It's kind of calm. My experience, it's calm. It's very direct, but it's not screaming at you. It's not rowdy. It's real subtle. And you gotta be there.
I respect that. Now, hearing the whispers sometime, or whispers, and you said move loud in the whispers. Is this the definition of like how your delivery is so strong with intent, reverse to
Hey,
it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you make sure you make your point. You make sure you make your point.
thank
Like,
you,
is
thank
that
you.
is that part of like the move loud on it? Like you heard it and now you like, okay, now I'm making my standpoint.
But I'm telling you, I think it's just in me. You know how they say that dog in me. That dog in me. It's
You
just in me. I am real chill, real cooling, but there's a fire, and in my art, that fire just comes.
there's a fire, and when you get that fire, everybody that's listening right now, you most definitely have to play on it because that fire is something most definitely special. So you've done live performances.
Yes,
We got on radio. You got the book.
yes,
You did special
yes.
performances as well. You
Y'all
did some
check the
special.
book out. Check the book out.
Yeah, yeah. Now, for the book, let people know where they could get the book, where they could check. Like,
Q. Okay, QSLady.com. That's my website. Books is on there, music, poetry, an array of things. And of course, as I've been mentioning, I have a new EP called Grace and Grit coming up. So the website will be updated with a lot of beautiful things. And that's Q as Lady, LADIE.com.
yeah, go check that out. Now let's talk about this new project that's on its way. Let's talk a little bit about that. It kind
Uh,
of got the yin and yang type of feel, like the sweet and sour. Like it got the balance.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
It got that feel. Could you talk about why the name and what you want the people to get from this body of work?
The name is called Grace and Grit. And because I feel like it's just two words that describe me. A lot of grace, a lot of grit, and all combined in one. It's not really. I know people say like they have different personalities or what do they call it? Not different personalities. I didn't make them sound schizophrenic. Um, what is it? But you know what
That
I
work?
mean? Like Ti versus Tip. What
Oh,
was
the
it?
personas.
They alter egos. It's
Gotcha.
not. It's not an alter ego. It's Grace and Grit is me as a whole. You get all of it at once. I'm really happy for the project. I cannot wait for everyone to hear it. I feel like it has layers and it shows different places I can go. I have something for the heads, for the hip hop heads. I have something you can cruise to. I have stuff where I just bar out. And then I have stuff I spent a little time in Atlanta. I'm from DC, but I went to school in Atlanta. So my whole life I've kind of been back and forth. So I
Okay.
even have some of that snap and roll for the Southern. So
Okay.
it has layers.
Nice, nice. And when could the people expect this?
Oh, I'm on the last song. I want to say 2 weeks because
Oh,
I'm
okay.
on the last song, but we're going to make sure everything is tied in before I give a new date because I did give a date that we didn't
Got
make. So before I give a new date, I'm just going to make sure everything's tied in, but the rollout will be quick. When I announce it, it's going to be like 10 days later.
Gotcha.
Project dropping.
I think that's pretty good, especially in this day and age. Long drawn warn rollouts kind of get forgotten. With all the
Mm,
stuff going on. So
exactly.
closer the
Especially as an
rollout to the
independent.
release, it kind of makes a lot more sense. So artists out there, don't make too much. I mean, if you're gonna do a long rollout, make sure the week of the release you do a rollout too. But we're in the market like it's out, promote and market it while it's out. Like that's the best time to do it. Most definitely that. Now we like I was mentioning going down line. So you got live performances, you did radio, you got books. Is there anything outside of this creative field that you see yourself dabbling soon? Like movie script or any I don't know I don't know with most people who love to write, then there's no limitations to that creativity. So I was wondering if the expansion of Q as a lady, what's in the works. But I don't know, we might have to keep that on the low. I don't know.
Yeah, we might have to keep that on the low. Keep your eyes open.
Keep it. Oh, I like that.
Keep your eyes open.
They were asking, is your music on YouTube? Yes. I played Sweet 16. Is the album gonna be available on YouTube?
Yes, it will be. Everything will be on YouTube and directly on my website. Also, the Sweet 16 series has just kicked off. It's 16 acapella bars every 16th of the month for the rest of the year.
Oh, so you banging them for the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Good way to keep the energy going and everything committed from there. I do want to take this time to say that, you know, in this day and age, you know, we know everyone getting their flowers is a thing. Now, everyone talks about everybody getting their flowers, but here on MJMG presents by way of SHU Radio, we don't give out flowers. We give out honor because honor lasts forever. And I want to take this time to give you your honor, not only managing the balance of creativity, but you stress not only gratitude but the empowerment in your words to deliver to others. It's not a selfish approach, it's an incorporative approach, and to keep the dedication in the mix of what that art craft demands, to keep the authenticity of you and that art craft with the thought of the listener, the viewer, the person who can internalize that. We want to take this time to give you your honor now.
Thank you.
Here on the show. That's most definitely a powerful thing and well balanced mind frame, which this industry chips away on a lot of people's balance. So maintaining that is most definitely something to salute.
Thank you.
Cloud9 said, you know, that's fire. That's fire. So shout out to you on that. Before we let you go, please again let the people know where they could get your music. And if there's anything you want to share, anybody you need to shout out or anything, I want to leave the floor open for that.
I shout out you and Miss Jackson.
Much love.
Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. I could not see directly who tuned in, but I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. A lot of beautiful things are coming, so stay tuned, stay locked. And you can find me on QAsLadie.com, QAsLadie.com. That's the host, digital host for everything that I do.
Everything. Now, are you open to working collaborations, features, or right now
yes,
you just
always?
She said yes, always. What's the best way for somebody to reach out to you on that aspect?
That website, QAsLadie.com. Send an email. You can send it through the forum on the website, or just email me directly. Contact Q at Yahoo. 100%. I will see an email before I see anything else. So that would be the best method.
There you go. Y'all heard it first. And I do want to say on the MJMG Presents app, Raw said, I'm going to be looking out for all the stuff that you put out. This is inspiring. So shout out to Raw. Hailing from Indonesia. So Indonesia's in the check-in.
Hey, okay.
Indonesia's in the check-in. So, but again, I want to thank you for jumping on. Really great energy. Like you said, keep giving that presence, not only just in your music, but in your actual presence to the people. They correlate and they co-combine. So thank you again. Let's give you another round of applause.
Hey, thank y'all.
Q, most definitely. And people that's on, please don't go. I'm going to give y'all the last word, and we're going to go into another one of the Sweet 16s too. But Q, you have an amazing night.
Good night.
Keep productive, and we're going to keep, like you said, we got our eyes open. We got our eyes and our ears.
And we're going to have to do this again when the music come out officially.
Say no more. We most definitely make that happen. All right, so you have a good one.
Good night. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to everybody that's on right now. That was Q as Ladie. And that's Q and then as Ladie. Shout out to everybody that's on right now. I want to send much love to everybody on. What's going on, Golden 562? I see you. MJMG, that was so beautiful. Even Muse, Reverse Twins, I see you. What's that? EMBM, I see you. I know you said she the truth. We got a little taste of that. Cloud9, I see you. And John Ways. We're gonna go into Sweet 16. But before we go into that one, I want to say to y'all, if y'all didn't get anything from tonight, take this. There was a word that was used predominantly a lot, and it was a gratitude. It was between gratitude and empowerment. Gratitude and empowerment. But in the whole sense of everything, there's a big word that wasn't said if you listen to it, and it's the truth. The truth. And sometimes we hear this phrase, you have to live in your truth, right? And a lot of times we don't live in our truths. We live in someone else's truth. And when we do that, we cannot take the right times to have gratitude or even give empowerment, because we're emulating something that exists that we might appreciate, that we might have gratitude for, but it's not our truth. So with that being said, find within yourself to find that truth being. Forget what everybody is. Don't be in competition with. You're not in competing. You are in building. And like the gods say, number 8, build and destroy. And this is one of my favorite degrees in God degree. When you have to build, something gets destroyed. Something gets destroyed. I mean, to build a rock, you have to create the sand pits, and you got to destroy something. And in the gratitude, in the truth, and in the empowerment, find those structures to build something to strengthen you, but to destroy something that you need not to carry. And that's the true elements of your growth, your gain, and your success. It goes back to those 2 words, gratitude and empower. So I want to give a shout out to everybody that was on. Shout out to Q. That was my final word. We're going to go into Sweet 16 every Monday, 9:30 p.m. Come here to MJMG Present. Shout out Miss J, I see you. And we interview people of all likes. We humanize the superheroes. And on Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m., we have the A&R desk. That's where we bring A&Ring right to your phone. This week, we sitting down with our winner of our competition of 2 weeks. We're going to be having Trisket Fargo live on the set, but we still will be playing music and answering questions. So I see y'all Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern for the A&R desk. With that being said, y'all keep creative, have gratitude, but don't forget the dual empowerment. The piece you need to take, the piece you need to give, and don't forget to destroy the stuff that you don't need. Let's go into the Sweet 16. Y'all have a good night, be safe, and keep creative.
You to level up your ear. 16 bars on the 16th rest of the year. This a calibration on the alphabet you can only find here. But you gotta be ebbing with my flow, cause I'm on my lifeline, not on your timeline. Sometimes I drop back, that's part of the swing. But when I connect, gotta look what I bring. All of my 16 standing on weight. Put that on the scale, that's a pound. You know the worst thing, cooking up white, still serving up work. But I do stay low with them keys. Kingpin told me in the flesh, I be moving like a G. Oh yeah, low on me, that's on my regular. By myself.